Y'all, have you ever had a dream about a man and you kind of brush it off as like, oh, I'm just being paranoid, but then turn to find out that your dream was actually warning you and that it was actually a message from your ancestors?
One thing about me, and I advise to everyone, is to always listen to your intuition. Your intuition is the knowing without a reason. The only time you find out whether your intuition was wrong or right is when you disobey it.
I'm literally sitting here talking to my sister and I'm thinking about the craziest thing that has literally ever happened to us that nobody felt the need to inform our parents about. When I was in the 3rd grade, my brother was in 2nd grade, my sister was in kindergarten, my older sister was in 4th grade. So we were babies, essentially. One morning we got on the school bus and my spirit was just like, something is wrong, but I could not explain it. And the bus driver was kind of like, sit down, you're getting on my nerves, because I kept being like, bus driver, you have to let us get off the bus.
The price you pay for ignoring your intuition is much greater than the price you would pay for.
Drill that into your head. And it's the hardest thing. And the realest. Because seriously, our body knows.
Guys, at some point in life, we have all got this feeling. At some point, we all felt it. That weird feeling, that weird gut feeling, like a quiet voice inside of you whispering, don't do it, stay away, go right now, don't go right now. You know, that thing that keeps talking to you, it's not just a feeling, guys. It's your intuition. It's way smarter than you think. In this video, we are diving into moments where trusting that inner voice changed everything, from unexpected wins to crazy near misses. These TikToks prove your gut speaks, you better listen. Let's go. My name is Rhea. I'll be back at the end of the video to share my opinion. Please subscribe, like, and share this video if you find any value.
Y'all, have you ever had a dream about a man and you kind of brush it off as like, oh, I'm just being paranoid, but then turn to find out that your dream was actually warning you and that it was actually a message from your ancestors? So let me give y'all a little backstory. I fell asleep at the house that this guy I was talking to, right? And when I fell asleep, I had a dream. In a dream, he had a girlfriend. His girlfriend had showed up at the house, right? So when I woke up, I was ready to slap the shit out of him. So y'all, now at this point, I got my guard up. If you thought you was about to get something, you thought wrong. So we continue to do the cupcaking thing, talking on the phone, FaceTime, and all that cute stuff, little cute text messages, whatever. So we plan to see each other on New Year's Eve. He says he has to work and that he doesn't really have any plans, but he'll see me when he get off. But all of a sudden, he's hanging with the guys. Once he told me he was hanging with the guys, I said, bet, I'll make other plans. So I ignored him for the rest of the day. He sends me this really cute voice message. And I was about to be a sucker after ignoring him all damn day. So I call him. Oh my gosh, I love just how the universe be working. I call him. I don't think he meant to pick up, y'all. Y'all, he literally picks up and hangs up immediately. But during those 3 seconds that the phone call was active, I hear a female in the background. Long story short, that man is blocked because I'm not about to give you the opportunity to manipulate me and tell me that that was your cousin or your sister. No.
I'm literally sitting here talking to my sister and I'm thinking about the craziest thing that has literally ever happened to us that nobody felt the need to inform our parents about. When I was in the 3rd grade, my brother was in 2nd grade, my sister was in kindergarten, my older sister was in 4th grade. So we were babies, essentially. One morning we got on the school bus and my spirit was just like, something is wrong, but I could not explain it. And the bus driver was kind of like, sit down, you're getting on my nerves, because I kept being like, bus driver, you have to let us get off the bus. Like, I need to get my siblings off the bus. And they were like, no, like, we're going to school. And I was like, no, something is wrong. And they're like, no, Tracy, like, everything is fine. I'm like, no, something is wrong. And I was so adamant. So I kept, like, I went up to, like, when you're little, you have, like, an older kid that's assigned to you as, like, your, babysitter or whatever you want to call it. So I went to the girl who was my bus girl and I was like, Nicolette, like, tell the bus driver to let us get off, something is wrong. And she's just like, Tracy, everything is fine, like, why are you stressing? And I'm like, no, something is wrong. She would not listen. So I went to my older sister's bus girl and I was just like, Kezia, please, like, you need to tell the bus driver to let us get off the bus. And like, everybody thought I was crazy. There was a smell, a very distinct smell that I remember being on that bus that morning. And I was like, please. And I would not let it go. I could not let it go. And so, mind you, I'm like 7 or 8 years old, probably 8 years old at this point. And I'm like, please. So finally, like, I'm bothering them so much. The bus driver is finally like, you're getting on my nerves, like, have a seat. And I'm like, no, we need to get off the bus. We need to get off the bus. Something in my spirit said something is wrong. So finally, the older girls were like, you know what? Like, can we just get another bus? Like, that's something that happened a lot when we were kids. Like, you're on the bus has some sort of malfunction, whatever. They just, like, wait for another bus to come and get you. So the bus driver's like, fine, whatever. So we get off the bus. He pulls over, and we're, like, not too far from, like, my brother's best friend's house, who's also on our bus. So before we even pick him up, like, it's winter. I will never forget this. Like, it's, like, cold weather. So we get out of the bus, and the bus driver is sitting in, radioing in for another bus to come and get us. And so we're all just, like, kind of sitting on the curb, like, off to the side. And I notice that there's, like, this green liquid that's dripping from the bottom of the bus. And so the green liquid's dripping, and I'm just, like, taking note. And then at some point, like, everyone else is kind of like, yay, fun time outside the bus, right? Because it's, like, something we never get to do. So, like, of course, the kids are, like, living it up. But I'm just like, no, something is wrong. So I'm paying attention. So I notice there's the green liquid, and the green liquid out of nowhere erupts into a fire. And so I just start screaming. I'm like, get off the bus, it's a fire. And the bus driver's like, what? I'm like, get off the bus, get off the bus. Like, I'm screaming. And the bus driver notices, like, and when I tell you this shit happened so quickly, it was like drip, 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 fire. And because of, like, where it was in the front of the bus, it lit up the front end of the bus. And the bus driver, like, dove off of the bus, and the bus went up in flames. Okay, like, when I say the bus was burnt to a fucking crisp, it was burnt to a crisp. They sent another bus. We get on the bus. They drop us off at school like nothing happened. We went on with the regular fucking day. We went to the nurse's office. The nurse was like, okay, tell me what happened. So, like, we tell them what happened. And then, like, nothing really happened. I think they kind of, like, checked our blood pressure and then just, like, sent us off to class. And I remember, like, going back to class and sitting in this classroom just being like, did we almost just die today? And nobody thought anything of it. So now we get home from school, and I'm telling my mom, like, Mom, it was so scary. My mom's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, the bus blew up today. And she's like, what do you mean the bus blew up? I'm like, yeah, we were on, like, you know, I recant the story to her, and I'm telling her, or recall the story, recount. I recount the story to her, and I'm telling her, Mom, this is what happened. So my mom's like, are you fucking kidding me? My mom is hysterical at this point, because she's like, no one even called to tell me this. So, of course, my mom calls my dad. My dad comes home, and he's like, no. Like, tell me everything that happened. So, of course, they reach out to the school. They reach out to the bus company. And the bus company's like, yeah, that happened. But all the kids were fine. It was not a big deal. And my mom's like, all 4 of my children were on that bus this morning. And nobody felt the need to tell me that I could have lost every single one of them today. And so I say all this to say this, because I had just stitched another thing about intuition. And I feel like there's a level of intuition that people sort of separate from outside of the womb, but, you know, based off society, whatever. And in the process of losing our intuition from childhood into adult, a lot of us don't know how to trust ourselves. But here I am, 8 years old, and I'm like, something's not sitting in my spirit well. It's bothering me. Like, I could not let it go. So my sister actually ended up bringing this up in the group chat, our family group chat this morning, where she's like, do y'all ever think about when the bus blew up and how traumatic that really was? Because it didn't dawn on me until I became an adult how traumatized I was. And I said, that was the most traumatic day of my life. Hands down, the most traumatic day of my life. And she's like, no, but, like, how come nobody checked on us? Like, nobody ever mentioned it again to us. They covered it in the news for a day, and then we never heard anything about it again. Like, they totally just, like, left us alone. And I'm like, is that not the craziest thing that you've ever heard? The bus blew up with a bunch of babies, essentially, because we were all from, you know, I mean, I went to a private school, so, like, it was up to 8th grade, and I think the girls who, like, I ended up yelling to, like, please, 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 were, like, 6th grade and, like, 8th grade, 6th and 7th grade, possibly. Maybe not even quite 8th grade, maybe 8th grade, who knows? But if it wasn't for, like, me being like, oh my God, like, please, 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 somebody listen to me, because I'm 8. No one wants to hear an 8-year-old complain. You know, the bus driver was kind of like, well, girl, sit down. If I had sat down and just chalked it, my mother would have lost all 4 of her kids in one day, in one incident. And a bunch of other parents would have lost their kids in the same capacity. And the worst part is, they literally didn't say shit to anybody. The school just let it ride. The bus company let it ride. They didn't say anything. But that was the day that I learned that my intuition will never misguide me, because after that, y'all couldn't tell me nothing. I'm like, no, it doesn't feel good to me. I ain't doing it, because I've been in too many situations where I could have regretted not saying something and then something bad could have happened. But each and every time I've been like, I don't know if it's just like me having the gift of foresight. I don't know. I just know that anytime my intuition has been yelling at me internally like that, I've had no choice but to listen, because the world was like, this is life or death, this is life or death, this is life or death. Another time it happened to me when I was driving, my car caught ice and I couldn't stop the car. And I remember like this little voice in my head just said, you're gonna be okay, just turn your wheel to the right. And I'm like, I'm an obedient soldier of the Lord, so I literally just turned the wheel to the right. And when I impacted, when I hit what I hit, I ended up hitting a wall. My car landed on top of the wall, and I was able to get out of the car myself, whatever. But when the emergency services showed up, they said, you were going down the hill. How did you know to move your wheel? And I said, something told me turn my wheel to the right, because it would be better to impact sideways than it would have been to impact head on. And they said, if I had hit head on, my head would have been decapitated from my body. That's how hard I would have hit it. I would have died instantly. I don't second guess my intuition. My intuition has not misguided me yet. I mean, it's misguided me in terms of like dealing with people I probably shouldn't have, giving them the benefit of the doubt, knowing that I shouldn't have. I have so many stories for days. I mentioned earlier about a man that I was with that he was abusive to me. And the craziest thing about it is the first few times that we spent like the night together, like not sexually, we just spent the night. Sleeping next to him, I couldn't sleep. And he used to make this ongoing joke about every time I wake up, you're awake, like you're like a baby in the forest, like you just can't sleep. That was my telltale sign that my body was not safe with that man, that my spirit was not safe, because I didn't feel safe, I didn't feel secure, and I stayed with that man for 5 years, wreaking havoc on my nervous system.
I want to talk about what happens when you don't listen to your intuition. I'm pointing at it right now. You fall on your face, and it's real. Yesterday, I was riding to a weekly bike ride that I always go on 7 a.m. And the whole way there, I was talking to myself about my brakes. I really was out of it. I didn't want to go on the ride that day, but I was like, you do this thing, you're committed to it, you gotta go. Somewhere I space out, I hear something behind me, and I slam on the wrong brake, which is, by the way, the left brake, and my whole bike flippity-floppitied, and I ended up breaking a rib, crushing my face. My legs are black and blue. It's real ugly. Anyway, if I'd listened to my intuition, I would have slept in. If I'd listened to my intuition, I would have ridden slower. If I'd listened to my intuition, I would have grabbed the right brake instead of the left brake. All of it happened in succession just to show me yet again when I am ignoring myself for other people. And I think that's usually when we're ignoring our intuition, is when we are doing for others and not for ourselves. So go in and check and see how that feels for you, that statement. Am I ignoring my intuition on behalf of other people so that I don't let them down? And by such, I'm letting myself down. And will I too crack my face open? Peace in.
The price you pay for ignoring your intuition is much greater than the price you would pay for.
Drill that into your head. And it's the hardest thing. And the realest. Because seriously, our body knows. I've been told I have an eerily accurate intuition. Completely accurate. You know how I know? Because I've failed listening to it every fucking time. Clearly, that's why I have this page. And when we're ignoring our intuition, it's hard to decipher, is it my intuition or maybe I'm, just having anxiety? Well, we shouldn't be having that anxiety in a relationship, right? So it is your intuition telling you something's off. And if something's off, it's off. And in these kind of situations, it is off. If something is off, it is off. 10 out of 10 times. And that's the hard truth. The truth hurts, but it heals.
You feel that caving feeling. You feel it. That is your intuition. You not being able to sleep, you feel it. Whatever you're ruminating about, whatever's off, is accurate. Your body, our bodies reject energy, and the longer and more involved you are in the situation, it's going to show. It's going to start kicking your ass. It's going to start taking a toll on you physically as well as mentally. Like, it's a price you will pay, among other ways, right? But here's like an example with me, right? The second I would get like that first feeling, I would, rather than listening to it, and not just in this like situation, right? In any situation sometimes, rather than listening to it, I will then like try to reason with it or make excuses around what it's trying to tell me. And what are my two favorite words for what? They are probably in that stage where they're making you feel amazing. They're giving you that attention. They're making you feel fucking amazing, and it feels good. And you want to fight against what your intuition is telling you. The logic. Like when we decide to unblock them, or when we decide to not block them, and our intuition telling us, I know if I unblock this person, they're probably just going to do the same shit, but there's a 13% chance that he won't. So I'm going to do it because, like, he might not, and I feel kind of bad. Our intuition is like the missing piece in basic arithmetic, right? It's like 2 + 2, our intuition is 4. That's how we should treat it. Instead, we decide like 2 + 8 is 4. What? And that 8 is all of our excuses, all of our, desires and wants and stuff, just so that we don't have to let it go. We can even take this kind of whole situation aside and bring it as simple as like a job interview, or when you're shopping. You see something you like when you're shopping and your intuition kicks in. I really like that, but like, do I have to spend this amount of money on that? That's your intuition, right? So basic, telling you no. Do we listen to it? Some of us are able to work through that. If I spend this money, there are severe consequences. I might not be able to pay rent. I might, there are things. This could seriously affect things moving forward for me. And others of us say, fuck it, I'm going to buy them and I'll figure it out. Because I'd rather be strutting my stuff in these pants and I'll figure it out. What's meant to be will be. Trust yourself. The reason you're having these feelings of intuition and it being off is because they cannot be trusted. So don't put your trust into something that is not your intuition. Don't, you know what I'm saying? For what? Love you. One thing about me, and I advise to everyone, is to always listen to your intuition. Your intuition is the knowing without a reason. The only time you find out whether your intuition was wrong or right is when you disobey it. And as somebody that used to be a former people pleaser, I used to always give everyone the benefit of the doubt. But that put me in situations where I ignored how my body was feeling in the moment for the sake of giving people another chance. But as somebody that has now acknowledged peace as an intentional act, it has to be reinforced day in and day out, and that includes being intentional with what you allow in your environment. I'm now comfortable distancing myself from people when I sense a bad vibe, because I've come to acknowledge that not everybody that does you wrong has to do it through a physical act, like this person hurt me. You also have to acknowledge that sometimes their energy isn't good for you, and as a consequence you're going to have to cut them off, and the sooner you do that, the better. It doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you a kind person, because you know when to prioritize yourself without being walked all over.
Please watch till the end, and if you did, thanks for watching till the end. See what I mean? Your intuition isn't just a feeling, it's your inbuilt-in guide to life. The real question is, are you listening or not? Drop a comment if you ever had a gut feeling that turned out to be 100% right. And hey, if you love these videos that make you think, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Trust your gut. And yeah, thanks for watching. You know how we do. We go in the playlist and watch the next one, right? It knows the way. Trust your gut. It knows the way. Love you.